So it's another very beautiful day today, and if you're new to my channel, I'm Brianna and I'm a music therapy student slash intern. I recently just graduated from UOP and I'm entering my internship in July, which is less than a month, and I'm on break right now, so I decided to make this video. And I'm holding this mic because I'm having a little backyard graduation party and I thought this was really cute, so I'm just gonna be holding it for a little bit. But this video I'm making is music therapy populations slash the setting I've worked with. And in the past 2 years at UOP, every semester I got to lead music therapy sessions with a different population slash setting, and we get assigned, and sometimes we also got to choose or put our preferred population. And I really loved all of them, and I'm super happy that I experienced all those sessions, and I learned a lot from each one of them, and it was just so much fun. So I really wanted to share my experiences with future music therapy students and just anybody who's interested. And I'm also going to share like some interventions that I used during this session. And I think at the end of this video I'll share what population slash setting I'm working with for my internship. So yeah, let's just get started with my first population. So my first ever music therapy population slash setting I worked with was with medically fragile children in a special education school. And my partner was my very good friend slash roommate and fellow music therapy classmate, Florence. And if you watched any of my vlogs of my music therapy journey, then you know who she is. But it was just so much fun getting to work with a very good friend, and I don't know, I think we were both really nervous and excited because it was our first ever music therapy, or actually leading a session. So it was just so exciting and overwhelming. I think the kids were so amazing, so friendly, and just so sweet overall. And we did group sessions twice a week for 30 minutes each day, and it was just like, I think we did around 5 to 6 interventions, like an opening and a closing. And if you haven't watched my session planning video, I'll leave a link down below, or I'll just leave my music therapy playlist link down below. And this group and individual session is also a little bit different. So this one was a group one, and me and Florence took turns leading interventions. So I'm just gonna briefly talk about 3 interventions that we used during this time. And for one of the goals, it was choice making that we were working on. So I sang a song called Let's Make a Pizza, and I would have the children choose a pizza topping and then put it on the pizza, and then I'd sing the chorus with them multiple times. And another song that we used was Un Poco Loco for instrument playing. And so I would sing and play my guitar and go around the group and have the kids strum the guitar and like touch the strings and while we were singing the song, and they really loved that. And one more was an expressive song, and it was If All the Raindrops. I think it's from Barney. I really don't remember, but Florence loved that song, and it was more of working on like vocalizations and singing along. That was really fun too. And so yeah, those were some of the interventions, and it was a memorable part was when Dr. Xiao sent the school photographer, and now me and Florence are all over the website, but there's a lot of like professional pictures of us leading the session, and so it's just really funny because she was like dressed nice and look professional and happy, and it was just really fun. And at the end of the semester, the children made a poster for us, and they had fingerprints, and they made little notes, and it was just the cutest poster I've ever received, and I have it now, and I'll probably put it up in my future studio because it's just so sentimental and my first fieldwork ever. And yeah, so this population I absolutely love. Definitely challenging, but I learned so much from it, and I wish I could go back because there's so much more that I learned now from like these past 2 years that I gained, all the experience I gained, and I just want to try again with this population. So the second music therapy population that I got to work with was older adults in the memory care unit at a long-term living care center. And honestly, I mean, I say this about like all the populations, but this was one of my favorite ones. The older adults were so cute, and it was like because it was the memory unit, every week it was like starting fresh, but they were still so nice and so friendly, and we had like a good morning song and everything, and it was just so, it felt so good to be there. Like I woke up feeling like, wow, it's so much fun. And for this population, I worked with two other partners, Whitney and Alicia, and it was just fun working in like a 3 people team. And it was a bit of a longer session. It was 45 minutes twice a week, 45 minutes per session. And I think we were so nervous that most of the time our sessions would only be 30 minutes, even though we had like 7 to 8 interventions planned, because we were just so nervous. We sang everything like super speed. But in the middle of our semester, COVID hit, so we had to leave early, or we didn't even get to say goodbye to our clients, and it was really sad because, again, like I said, it was the first part of the semester was just so great and so fun to work with them. And yeah, I love seeing them every week. And I just wanted to briefly mention some of the interventions that we used. And the first one was a drum circle, and we brought in like a bunch of different drums, like world drums and just like little drums, all types of drums. And we passed them out to our clients. We had a group of like maybe 10 to 12 every week around there. And so we would just like let all the clients play around, have someone lead maybe, or have one of us music therapy students lead, and the clients follow along. Another one that we did was a movement song, which is we used I Wanna Hold Your Hand, and we just go around and like shake all their hands. And one more was, one of my personal favorites is instrument playing, and I brought in the ocean drum, and it's like a drum and it has like beads on the inside, and it sounds very like soothing and relaxing. And while we were playing that, I'd sing My Bonnie. And honestly, it's like such an old song, but I don't know, I love that song. It's one of my favorite music therapy rep songs that I use. And so yeah, those are some of the interventions that we used. There was so much more, but I'm just naming 3 of them. Loved this population, like I said. So sad it got cut short. For the rest of the semester, I just like kind of like role played with my supervisor and just like sang some of the songs that we use. And yeah, I just made a little short like session plan instead of like our long one. And it was individual. It wasn't like me and my partners doing a session. So yeah, love this population. So much fun. My third music therapy population that I worked with was at the Oncology unit in a hospital in Stockton. And unfortunately, because of COVID, I wasn't able to be there in person. And so I had a supervisor, as so in all the other fieldwork sites. But this time we just role played every single week, and I would lead a full session, but it'd just be simulated, and yeah, so it wouldn't be real. My supervisor did a great job of role playing the client, and she would give me different like scenarios and what the patient was diagnosed with and what they're struggling with, and I had to like pretend to ask for a referral from like the nurse and just stuff like that. So that's what I learned. It was great practice, because honestly, if I got thrown into the hospital, like, you know, like just right there, if this was actually in person, I'd be so awkward. It was already so awkward like role playing. And this was actually my first time doing one-on-one sessions. Like I mentioned before, in the previous 2 semesters, I had a partner, Florence, and then the second semester I had Whitney and Alicia, so it was like 2 people and then 3 people, and then suddenly I did individual. And individual sessions are a little bit different, and also the population again was different because it was adult. So it was the adult oncology unit, and you know, there's more conversing, and I like to think that I'm pretty good at talking with people, like strangers or like just like friends, but when I'm put into a therapy setting, I turn into an awkward taco. Is that a word? Yeah, but I'm so awkward and I just don't know what to say. And especially when like, you know, like someone's like struggling with anxiety, isolation, pain, you know, they're at their like physically not physically at their best. It's especially hard because, you know, they're processing through a lot of emotions. And so me as a music therapist, like I'm bringing music into there and, you know, just listening to them, you know, finding different interventions to help them relax. There's so many things. And some of the interventions that I used was I had a music menu, or I created a music menu where there's like around 40 songs that I have on there that I know well from like different decades. And so I would give my patient that list, and they can choose some and we can just sing some together, and yeah, so just have a good time with the songs. And another one that I absolutely loved using was songwriting, and I used the song My Girl, and I would take out like parts of the song, and the patient can fill in the blank. And it's also a way for me to assess like how they're feeling and like, you know, what they like, stuff like that. Like, it's a very good way just to get to know the patient. So I absolutely love that intervention. Another one that I used quite often for this population was progressive music relaxation. And basically it's where there's like a script, or there's multiple scripts, right, of like imagery and like just relaxing images, and you play like chords either on like the guitar or keyboard and just like read the script, and it's pretty relaxing, and patients can fall asleep. And if that's the goal, like, you know, what's that word called? Aiding in sleep, I think, yeah, whatever, just like helping the patient go to sleep, or if they're having trouble falling asleep, you know, you can introduce these ways for music to help them. And so, yeah, this was definitely, again, challenging, but I'm so glad I got to practice, because this is the population that I'm working with, hospital, so I'm very excited, but yeah, like I said, I'm so happy that I got the chance to experience or even practice with my supervisor all these interventions and just conversing with people. So my last and most recent fieldwork site was at the speech clinic at UOP, and I got to co-treat with 2 other student clinicians that were SLP majors, speech therapy majors. And it was very interesting because it was my first time collaborating and co-treating with other healthcare professionals. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do that in the future a lot. So it was just a really great experience learning how to communicate and collaborate to work with our client. And so it was individual one-on-one sessions, and I met with the client once a week for 25 minutes, and the other 25 minutes the SLPs would use that time. And so for the goals, or working on what we were working with, I would just kind of support what the SLPs were working on. And it was very interesting because I just like kind of adapted songs and melodies to help the verbs they were working on with the client, and it was just very fun to learn to do that. And it was also my first time using neurologic music therapy techniques, and they're very specific, and yeah, like I love it the most. And but I do have to say that this field work was the most difficult, only because I never really learned the interventions before. And again, like I said, like I'm working alone, but in real life, or I guess in music therapy world, you honestly really just work alone. Not that you don't collaborate with other people, but it's most of the time like you're by yourself leading the session. So it was very good practice, again, for me to like learn how to interact with my client one-on-one. So the interventions I used were a little bit different, like I said, because it's neurologic music therapy techniques, and I only had time to do 2 a week instead of like, you know, my other sessions where I got to do like 4 to 5 or more. And so the one that I used was, I used the song Under the Bridge because my client liked like rock music, yeah, just like rock 80s. I don't know, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Def Leppard, and songs like that. And so I used the lyrics because he knew the melody. Then I would fill in like a verb for that week, and then I just adapt the lyrics so he's able to sing and then generalize the singing into speaking. And another intervention that I really loved using and that was so effective was MIT, which is melodic intonation therapy, that is actually created by speech therapists, but music therapists use it. And I want to make a whole separate video on that because it was just so cool to see that intervention work, and I loved using it, and I'm pretty sure the client really benefited from it. And so this was, again, like my last semester of fieldwork, and before I graduated, I guess literally just like a month ago. But yeah, so this was might be my favorite. I think I say that about all of them, but this one really was great as well. I always ramble on much longer than I want to, but there's just so many stories, and I'm always just so excited to talk about music therapy and everything that I've learned so far. But yeah, so I think I mentioned it briefly when I was talking about the oncology unit, but I am interning at a hospital and I'm very excited. It's very, it's an acute patient setting, so it's very like fast-paced, and I might only see patients one time, and it's not like other settings where it's like, like more frequent, like weekly. And so it's very different, and again, like I said, I can't 100% say that I love that population, only because I never got to experience it or lead the sessions in real life, but I do really enjoy it from what I know. So I'm very excited for the next 6 months where I'm full-time working at the hospital. And yeah, I'm just excited to learn so much and just work with like so many patients and yeah, learn so much from my supervisors. But yeah, so that is in, what day is it today? It's like June 11th. I start on like July 7th, and I'm just so excited. And yeah, so I hope this video helped any future music therapists. And yeah, I just think music therapy is great. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and always, always, always live a life you can't put into words. Peace.